I have had this GT86 for about 3 years now. Some good memories, some bad. But this one was the worst. I'm heading home one evening, take a wrong turn, and boom, I ran into the back of a lorry. This left the car with some very serious damage. The bonnet got folded and tore, the left fender got badly bent, and the right one took less damage. One of the AC lines snapped at the aluminum joint, and even part of the shock tower took a hit. You might want to ask yourself, how did this damage happen? The car went into the lorry from the back, and some of the parts such as the front bumper, the headlights, and the windshield survived. How did this happen? That's because when the crash occurred, the car slid slightly under the lorry. The GT86 sits low, and that alone probably saved me a lot more damage. And right now, we are going to take a closer look at all the damage. Every dent, every bend, every broken piece. From there, we start repairing the GT86 piece by piece until it's back to looking and running like it should. Stick around because this is a full repair process and you're going to see exactly how it all comes together. Fortunately, the car was still drivable. We're starting the repair right here at my home compound. The reason is simple. After the accident, the car wasn't exactly roadworthy, and driving it on the streets could have caused problems with the authorities. So, I brought it home safely to begin all the initial work. The first step was dismantling the entire front end to properly assess the damage and work on each part separately. We began by opening the bonnet to inspect the heart of the car, the engine bay. This step was crucial to see if any critical components were damaged in the accident. As we looked around, we discovered that one of the AC pipelines had been broken at the aluminum joint. Fortunately, the impact wasn't deep. The AC line doesn't directly affect the car's performance, and no major components were damaged. This meant it was going to be an easy fix. And then the front bumper. Then the left fender. Followed by both headlights. And then finally, the right fender. By dismantling the front end in this order, we were able to thoroughly assess the accident damage while protecting the more fragile parts of the car, setting everything up for the next stage of the repair process. After assessing the damage, the next step was salvaging whatever parts we could still use. We started with the right fender. It wasn't too badly damaged, so instead of replacing it, we decided to give it a second life. A bit of panel beating here and there just to straighten it out and make sure it lines up properly, because after the accident, the panel gaps were completely off. Then we had this metal bracket, the one that sits underneath the fender, right around the shock tower arc. I don't even know the exact name for it, but it's the piece that helps hold the wing in place once it's bolted down to the chassis. That also needed a bit of straightening before we could reuse it. Once the old parts were prepped, it was time to bring in the new ones. For the left fender and the bonnet, we wanted something clean, and thanks to the guys at 22B and Redline Auto Parts Kenya, we found exactly that. These two shops are honestly known for supplying some of the best Subaru parts in the country. Whether you're looking for an engine, a gearbox, or clean body panels, they got you covered. Now, here's the interesting part. If you didn't already know, the Toyota GT86 and the Subaru are basically the same car. Toyota and Subaru actually worked together on this project. Toyota handled the design and concept, while Subaru provided the engineering, especially the 2-liter boxer engine that sits nice and low into the chassis. That's what gives the car its perfect balance and that planted feel when driving. So, because both cars share the same platform, almost all the body panels are interchangeable. That's why we were able to fit a Subaru BRZ bonnet and left fender directly onto this GT86, and they lined up perfectly. We finally had the parts, and it was time to start putting the GT86 back together. We began fitting it back together, starting with the fenders, and moved on to the headlights, the bumper, and finally the bonnet. This whole rebuilding process started at home, and honestly, we didn't have all the right tools for the job. It wasn't the most ideal setup either, but we just had to make it work. The goal was simple, to get the car looking presentable enough to move from point A, which was home, to point B, which was the garage. Piece by piece, everything started coming together. The panels weren't perfectly lined up, and some of the gaps were off, but seeing the car take shape again was just satisfying. You could finally see the GT86 coming back to life. At this point, it wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. By the end of the day, the car could finally move. The front end was complete, everything roughly in place, and it felt good to see it roll out again after all that work. That wrapped up day one, a long tiring day, but a solid one. Next up, day two. Time to get it to the garage, where we could finally sort out those panel gaps and give it the proper alignment it deserved.